So you want to know more about Whitemane? Do you like hats? Do you expect the Scarlet Inquisition?
No one expects the Scarlet Inquisition!
And do you like being a walking TV trope? Then Sally Whitemane, High Inquisitor, is for you. Sally Whitemane was born in the Kingdom of Lordaeron, the largest of all human kingdoms in WoW, presumably near the Hillspread foothills, as she's seen there as a child with her friends Renault Mograine and Jimmy Vicious in the small town of Southshore. Even as a child, Whitemane showed a sadistic streak, helping her friends corner and torture small animals like frogs to death. They'd pretend to purify the monsters. During this time, a charming old mage from Dalaran was wandering the lands, gathering students and followers to create a cult that would follow the teachings of the Lich King. Kel'Thuzad established the Cult of the Damned and followed the orders of his master, the Dreadlord Mal'Ganis, to spread a plague of undeath throughout Lordaeron, turning innocents into loyal servants.
It's as if the land around that granary is dying.
Could the grain itself be plagued?
Let's hope not. Those crates bear the regional seal of Anderhall, the distribution center for the northern boroughs. If this grain can spread the plague, there's no telling how many villages might be affected.
Are you responsible for this plague, Necromancer? Is this cult your doing?
Yes. I ordered the Cult of the Damned to distribute the plagued grain. But the sole credit is not mine.
What do you mean?
I serve the Dreadlord, Mal'Ganis. He commands the scourge that will cleanse this land and establish a paradise of eternal darkness.
And what exactly is this scourge meant to cleanse?
Why, the living, of course. His plan is already in motion. Seek him out at Stratholme if you need further proof.
We're too late. These people have all been infected. They may look fine now, but it's just a matter of time before they turn into the undead. This entire city must be purged.
Prince Arthas Menethil set out to kill Kel'Thuzad and Mal'Ganis, and in the process fell to darkness when he decided to travel to Northrend and find Frostmourne, the blade of the Lich King, which quickly took a hold of his soul. After slaying Mal'Ganis, he returned home to the kingdom he tried to save, only to betray it.
Ah, my son. You no longer need to sacrifice for your people. You no longer need to bear the weight of your crown. I've taken care of everything.
What is this? What are you doing, my son?
Succeeding you, father.
This kingdom shall fall, and from the ashes shall arise a new order that will shake the very foundations of the world.
The plague was spreading rapidly. The undead razed the lands and slaughtered whatever stood in their path. As they traveled through northern Lordaeron to escape, Whitemane was forced to destroy her family as they had become infected and succumbed to undeath. Racked with guilt and rage, only one thing could fill the void in her heart: the destruction of the undead.
I will have vengeance for the life you stole from me, Lich!
The Scarlet Monastery was once a bastion of peace, learning, and enlightenment. Sally and Vicious found refuge in its halls and soon rose up the ranks. Under Whitemane's leadership, the monastery would transform into a stronghold for the Scarlet Crusade, and her followers would become fanatical in their desire to see the impure purged from the world. Paranoid and overzealous, They grew to mistrust anyone who wasn't part of the crusade and believed anyone outside the monastery walls to be infected by the plague. Their grasp on reality was slipping, and many innocents were tortured and killed. Whitemane's command of the light was frighteningly powerful, and any undead or foe who dared cross her was turned to ash. However powerful she was not all-knowing. The Dreadlord, Balnazzar, had infiltrated the Scarlet Crusade as Grand Crusader Saidin Dathrahan and was pulling the strings from inside, furthering the downfall of the Eastern Kingdoms. Balnazzar had struck a deal with Kel'Thuzad to help get rid of major threats in the Plague Lands, and preyed on Renault's insecurities and whispered sweet lies to him before he joined the Scarlet Crusade, promising him power and prestige within it if he could kill his father, Alexandros Mograine, the Ashbringer, a formidable opponent to the Lich King's forces, for every undead struck by his sword would turn to nothing but ash. Renault always resented his father for seemingly loving his younger brother Darien more than him. He told his father that Darien had been kidnapped and taken to Stratholme, a major Scourge stronghold. Inquisitor Fairbanks and Alexandros were ambushed inside the walls. Fairbanks fell early on, but Alexandros pushed on and on and on, destroying wave after wave of undead. When he finally collapsed from exhaustion and dropped his sword, Renault picked up the sword and stabbed his father through the heart from behind, corrupting the blade and dooming both to be servants of Kel'Thuzad. As promised, Renault was promoted to Scarlet Commander and took his place in the Scarlet Crusade next to Sally. She would always protect her champion. 5 years passed, and players in WoW were tasked to take out the leadership of the Scarlet Monastery, hoping it would lead to the fall of the Crusade. Mograine was slain for good in canon lore by the spirit of his father, taking revenge for his death, when Darien traveled to the monastery with the corrupted Ashbringer to confront him.
Infidels. They must be purified.
Mograine has fallen? You shall pay for this treachery! Arise, my champion.
At your side, milady.
And I highly recommend checking out the comic Ashbringer because it's one of my favorite lore pieces, if not my favorite, and wow, it's so good. And if you were lucky enough to raid Naxxramas in Classic when it was still a 40-man and the corrupted Ashbringer dropped for you, it would actually whisper things to you about the Scarlet Crusade, and it was so haunting, it's so good. Whitemane survived the assault, as she would resurrect herself later on through her strong link to the light, and reappear in the new version of the Scarlet Monastery in Mists of Pandaria with her new champion, Scarlet Commander Durand, This time, she died for real. Lillian was a former daughter of a high commanding priest in the Scarlet Crusade, now turned rogue undead, acquired a pair of special blades and impaled Sally's corpse, preventing her from rising again. But this ain't it, Chief. Whitemane was resurrected yet again in Legion, this time by a Death Knight Darien Mograine and Death Knight players, to become a member of the new 4 Horsemen, because you can't have a 4 Horsemen with only 4 dudes. For the new Lich King, Bolvar Fordragon. Through death, her sanity was restored, and she's a lot calmer now than she was in life. And that's Whitemane's lore for now. Whitemane was voiced by Kath Soucie in Classic WoW, Grey Delisle Griffin in the Mists of Pandaria remake, Erica Lindbeck in Heroes of the Storm, and to my knowledge, by Barbara Goodson as a Death Knight.
Mograine has fallen? You shall pay for this treachery! Arise, my champion. The light has spoken!
You shall pay for this treachery. The light has spoken. Mograine.
You will pay for this treachery! Arise, my champion! The light has spoken! Mograine!
In undeath, my true purpose is manifest.
Whitemane is based on the Legion version of a disciplined priest, when they still had to juggle Plea, a quick spell that put Atonement, Seal, on a target and cost more mana the more allies with Atonement, becoming a very expensive spell at more than 6 stacks. Whitemane's staff design is based on the insignia of the Scarlet Monastery, the Scarlet Crusade's insignia being a red flame on a white background, gold representing wisdom, generosity, glory, constancy, and faith, red representing warriors and martyrs, and white representing truth, sincerity, peace, innocence, and purity according to medieval coat of arms colors. Whitemane's dance animation uses choreography from Britney Spears' I'm a Slave for You.
Oh, you noticed the new chapeau. It's not on my loot table, so don't try anything.
She can drop her hat in WoW, Whitemane's embroidered chapeau, originally Whitemane's chapeau. Although, when you wear it, it won't display your hair, because the technology isn't there yet. It's 2021, Blizz. Let me wear hats with my hair.
I've found that without proper guidance, crusades quickly become onslaughts.
After Whitemane and Renault's death in Classic, a fraction of the Scarlet Crusade transformed into the Scarlet Onslaught, traveling to Northrend in hopes of destroying the Lich King with little regard of the original Crusade's wishes, wanting to destroy not just the Scourge, but anyone who opposes them, with High General Abendis as their head.
Me? A horseman of the Ebon Blade? I would never serve the undead. Besides, do I look like I'd be caught dead in black?
As mentioned before, Sally is now a member of the Ebon Blade, serving the Lich King. Quite ironic.
Greetings. What do you seek?
Greetings. What do you seek? We do what the living cannot. There is no peace for the unliving.
I know we're supposed to call everyone heroes these days, but Renault will always remain my champion.
This is probably a reference to League of Legends and their heroes being called champions, and people coming from League of Legends on the forums, you always see it, they call the heroes champions instead.
End this myopic crusade of yours, Whitemane. Come back to the light.
You squander the light's blessings. This is how to wield the light against the corrupt.
In current WoW lore, it's strongly hinted at that the light isn't as good and pure as some might believe it to be. It helps Whitemane just as much as Anduin, and the two couldn't be more different. Some beings of light can become so fanatical that they try to convert others through any means necessary in a holy crusade.
The prophecy must be fulfilled. Your old life has passed. The light will forge you a new one.
It is not yours to take.
The light will heal your scars.
I am my scars.
The light is your destiny.
My destiny is my
Tiny Sally, along with her friends, and the plethora of other Easter eggs, like the creation of the Ashbringer, can be found in the old Hillspread dungeon. Instead of following the path to Durnhold, take a right to South Shore instead. Her release was also kind of a hot topic because she's not really a main lore character, as you saw. Like, there's barely any lore on her. People wondered, like, why not a major priest? Why Whitemane? Well, because for people who played WoW for a long time, back in the day in Vanilla and even BC, and even like parts of Wrath even still, the Scarlet Monastery was an integral part of the experience. Leveling took months, and the Scarlet Monastery had 4 wings, and 2 of which you needed to unlock by running the other wing. It spanned from levels 28 or something all the way up to level 40. And that process took you weeks, if not months. And Whitemane was the ultimate boss of all of that, with like a 2-phase fight to boot. Your first real kind of mega dungeon experience. And I think that's another reason why they chose Whitemane as a hero, because Scarlet Monastery in itself is very fondly remembered.
30 silver for each chapeau that drops.
Well, so far it's been none.
Well, good. Don't need to pay us then.
Damn it!
God damn it!
For the Crusade, bitch!
Free rework release Whitemane. Oh boy. So I played Whitemane when she first came out, and she had a couple of reworks, like 1 major rework and then a few talent adjustments and stuff. I don't remember those, so I'm not going to be able to talk about those, because with her first rework, it completely ruined the character for me to the point where I didn't even want to play her anymore. So during that period of Whitemane, I didn't play Whitemane. And then for her second rework, I picked her up again. And I think that's the one we have now. And now I got used to it, and I don't think it's so bad. I like playing Whitemane. If played well and you knew what you were doing, Whitemane, as a healer, would almost never run out of mana. If done correctly, you would actually gain net mana. I am not making this up. That is how she was designed. There were mandatory talents, like Clemency was not baseline, you had to pick it as a talent. And her entire level 4 tree was about managing her mana. And there was a talent that would give you mana back per stack of desperation. It was some kind of weird math that you did, where a certain amount of stacks plus Clemency on someone, or an Inquisition, would give you all the mana you spent on the please, plus extra mana back. It was ridiculously broken. Now, I'm not saying Whitemane as a character was broken. I think there was maybe 1 time where she was like first pick, first ban because she was so good, but I don't remember why. I think there was a dive meta or something, and she's just a really good anti-dive healer. Plus she does a ton of damage if played correctly for a healer. Whitemane to me has always just been good. But I think there was a time, I think it was after the rework, where she was just kind of trashed here because she was so much work for the same healing output, or even less than other healers. The whole mana juggle thing came into play after her first set of nerfs. I remember now, because on release I played piano mana juggle Whitemane the way she was meant to be played. But then people figured out that Q build, pure Q build, just spam Q all day, was first of all piss easy to play. Second of all, it actually didn't use as much mana as people thought it would for like Desperate Plea. And that's how you played Whitemane on release until her nerfs. Just Q build and just spam Q. You couldn't like spam it, but you could spam it more than you can now. Just Q, root people, win. Q, root people, win. That was Whitemane. Nothing about her abilities themselves have really changed, except Divine Reckoning now also gives mana back, not just health, because you can actually go now. Whitemane, in my opinion, is one of the hardest healers to master in Heroes of the Storm. Why? because it's really easy for things to go bad really quick on Whitemane. First of all, if you're playing Whitemane, you have to be an aggressive healer. You can't play like little bitch. No, throw that out the window. You gotta be aggressive on Whitemane. You have to establish my knuckles. Dominance! Seriously, the enemy cannot walk up to a good Whitemane and expect to live. It's very easy to go on Whitemane and feel like you're not doing anything. It might be a combination of you're not managing your stacks correctly, and it might be you're not playing offensively enough. So you gotta get yourself into that aggressive mindset. Her trait is Seal. Whitemane's healing abilities apply Seal for 8 seconds. Allies with Seal are healed for 100% of the damage Whitemane deals to heroes. Activate to gain 25% spell power and lose 25 armor for 5 seconds, increasing damage taken by 25%. Can be cast while channeling abilities. The spell power stacks additively with itself and other abilities like it. Give me that Seal, baby! If you play a disciplined priest in WoW, Whitemane will feel very, very familiar. It's the same concept really. In WoW you play your atonements and try to keep them on as many targets as possible, then dump all your damage out and heal everybody. Same thing with Whitemane. As for the activatable on the trait, I use it outside of combat just to save some mana, have it with a clemency tick or maybe a Q clemency to heal someone up really quickly on the sidelines. If I'm not the focus of an attack, then I'll use it to keep my allies alive. The Seal healing damage only applies to hero damage, as it says. So minions, mercenaries, you're just out of luck. Her Q is Desperate Plea. Heal an allied hero for 140 and gain Desperation for 4 seconds. Desperation increases Desperate Plea's mana cost by 45 and stacks up to 3 times. If you're gonna play Whitemane, you have to get used to this sound. Desperate Plea is also your only mana cost spell. This is where things can go really bad really quickly. If you spam this, you're gonna go so fast, like you have no idea. So the general rule is to space out your seals over 1, maybe 2 stacks. You can Q Clemency or Inquisition and then Q again to remove that stack in between and have 2 base cost Qs go out in quick succession. Even though you have to be careful with this, so you don't go For the love of everything that is holy, if someone's dying in front of you, just press your button. Press it! It's okay! It's okay for you to go if you save your allies. Nothing drives me more mashuggy than seeing a Whitemane just stand there with half mana, not casting Desperate Plea when you clearly could, and then you hear that all familiar ding of them getting a kill because you didn't save your teammate. Bruh! Just press the button! It's okay for you to go and harf. Yeah, it's inconvenient. Yeah, it's kind of annoying. But that's the early game. I see this a lot in the early game. Or a lot in the late game actually too. Just press the button. You can go half, but don't give the enemy XP just because you refuse to go and press your Q. Yeah, it's annoying when your teammates are constantly suicidal, but like, that's just the healer life. I don't know what to tell you. Save a life, go half, get mana. It's not the end of the world. It's okay to press your Desperate Plea again if you're at 3 stacks. It's okay. It's okay. Her W is Inquisition. Channel on an enemy hero for up to 3 seconds, dealing 50 damage every 0.5 seconds and slowing them by 30%. Removes the stack of Desperation, and it shares the cooldown with Clemency. Clemency is the ally version, Inquisition is the enemy version. Inquisition can be cancelled after 0.5 seconds by reactivating the ability to end its effects early. The channel is interrupted if the target moves outside the active range, and the cooldown is triggered at the start of the channel. Now, the active range is different from the cast range. The cast range is just your normal cast range. The active range slightly extends out of the cast range. So Inquisition can actually latch on to a target way beyond your cast range. But eventually it will break. Once you cast Inquisition on a target with stealth, even stealthing will not remove Inquisition. When I cast this sometimes, especially against a lot of skill shot heroes, I will intentionally end the cast early because you're just a sitting duck out there channeling your W. I do the same thing with a bunch of things like Leaving, Disintegrate, or Anduin Salvation. Just cancel it early, just so not every skill shot in the universe piles onto your location. Inquisition, also good as an engage for your team because of the 30% slow. I also use this a lot on targets that are running away to slow them once again and then deal that extra damage and hopefully kill them. So many kills with just that Inquisition. Don't feel like I need to say this, but think I should. It can be interrupted, so you should find a good spot to cast it. Her E is Searing Lash. After 0.5 seconds, smite enemies in a straight line for 82 damage. If the first strike hits an enemy hero, a second strike will occur after a short delay. The second strike is perpendicular to the first. Makes a big cross, so when you're targeting this on a stationary or CC target, make sure you hit with the center of the skill shot, because that way both lines will hit the target. Otherwise, it's just a little bit of just getting a feel for the ability, just playing her with how the skill shots will land in a group of enemies. It's just a weird skill shot that it's like across. Even when you're running away, you can toss this out and usually you'll get both hits on a hero that's chasing you, and it's just so much healing. This is your main healing spell, and that's why I said you have to be aggressive on Whitemane. You can't just rely on Inquisition or your Clemency and your Desperate Please. It ain't gonna work. You need to go out and whip out some lashings, boys. Now, because you only get the second strike for a hero, Whitemane has almost no PvE capability. Trying to PvE on Whitemane is painful and agonizing. If you're used to playing pre-rework Whitemane, you also have this combo kind of stuck in your muscle memory. The Searing Lash Inquisition combo to root an enemy. You can still take that talent at level 16, but it's not the best one anymore. But you used to have to press Searing Lash and then immediately Inquisition your target. And both strikes will probably hit that target because of the slow. So that's a little combo you can do with Whitemane. Just Searing Lash, immediately Inquisition. Her first heroic is Scarlet Aegis. Bolster the spirits of nearby allied heroes, healing them for 300 and granting them 40 armor for 4 seconds. It grants seal on cast to every hero inside the Scarlet Aegis. It does not stack with other positive armor effects. Other defensive damage modifiers may stack. Another passive bonus of this ult is that you'll learn a new word. I honestly, for the longest time, thought she was just pronouncing guard really weirdly. Didn't know that gird was actually a word. Both of Whitemane's ults are anti-dive, but I feel like they each kinda do it a little differently. This one I usually take against mages, a lot of ranged, a lot of burst, and when I myself have a lot of ranged on my team that can stand near me, because I don't want to run into melee range. Like, don't make me do that. So usually I take this when we have a lot of ranged, they have a lot of ranged, and they have a lot of burst, like a KT Pyro or a Consume Souls Mephisto, a Butcher with the not silencing ult, Illidan, Genji, etc. Whitemane just basic anti-dive. A bonus if you take this heroic at level 20, if you take the upgrade, you also get 2 seconds of Unstoppable for each cast. So every 60 seconds, you can mass cleanse. Her second heroic is Divine Reckoning. After 1 second, consecrate an area for 4 seconds, dealing 50 damage every 0.5 seconds to enemies inside. 25% of damage dealt to heroes is returned as mana. This is my standard go-to Whitemane heroic, because I like the mana returned and I like doing damage. Usually I take this when we have a lot of dive heroes, again, like Illidan, maybe a Sonya, maybe an Arthas, a lot of melee heroes. And as I said, I don't want to be in melee range. Yeah, you want to be aggressive with Whitemane, but I don't want to dive into the enemy team either. So if we have a Hunt Illidan diving into the enemy team, I will seal him up, and if we have a pylon going on, then I can just cast my Divine Reckoning, throw out a bunch of seals, and hopefully keep everyone alive. Plus, get mana back! Hey! With the rework, returning mana, it actually feels a little bit like Tyranda's ult, where you can just toss out heal, heal, heal. With this ult, you can cast Desperate Plea as many times as you want, as long as people are inside your AoE area and returning mana to you. Another upside of this ult is you don't need to be quote-unquote active for it to heal. So what you can do is toss out a bunch of seals, you see a butcher, beep beep, target locked, and he's charging toward you. You toss out your Divine Reckoning, you already have your seal on yourself, primarily, maybe other people too. And then on your location, butcher's going all in on you, and you have Divine Reckoning, just keeping you alive. Or you know, like a bunch of dive heroes, just going in for your throat. You throw down Divine Reckoning on your location, and you just live. You just live! When Whitemane first was announced, people looked at the hero trailer and the PTR and stuff, and they were like, how is Whitemane ever gonna be good? She has no escape, no nothing. Bitch, please.
I heard the sound effect, but it was so fast it didn't matter. God damn it.
Her active ability is Clemency. Activate to cast Inquisition on an allied hero, healing them for up to 329 over 3 seconds while channeling. Shares a cooldown with Inquisition and removes a stack of Desperation. Again, you can cancel this early. This applies Seal on every tick. And again, this can be cancelled if the target moves out of range. Please stop doing that. Why are you running? Why are you running? As for talents, look, I consider myself a decent Whitemane player. I'm not gonna let you die, but I'm no Anemomir. Anemomir? When it comes to Whitemane, so take this with a grain of salt, as always. This is just, I feel like I should say this for every video. This is my preferred build for the hero. There are many like it, but this one's mine. So if you're starting out with Heroes of the Storm again, or if you just want to try the hero and you want a starting off point, this is what's been working for me, and maybe it'll work for you. Maybe you need to change some things, I don't know. But this is what I go with. Pity the Frail at level 1. The bonus healing stacks additively with healing dealt modifiers, and multiplicatively with healing received modifiers on the target. At level 4, Martyrdom. Again, the bonus healing stacks additively with any other modifiers, and multiplicatively with healing received modifiers on the target. At level 7, it depends, usually in Recession for the cleanse, obviously, a cleanse always good to have. Sometimes there just isn't really much CC on the enemy team, so I personally take Saintly Greatstaff, just because I like weaving in auto attacks, but I see most people take Zealous Spirit, which is fine, I don't care, like, you do you. At level 10, Again, it depends on the enemy team, your team. Most of the time I take Divine Reckoning also if they have a lot of melee heroes again, because they need to stay in melee range to do damage. So most likely they will spend the most time inside the area. At level 13, I don't think there's any contest. Subjugation. The damage reduction stacks additively with other offensive damage modifiers affecting the target's damage output. You put a good subjugation on a Greymane or something, it's just out of the game. Subjugation, if you don't get interrupted, it's just so good. It's just so good. 50% damage reduction, are you kidding me? At level 16, Shared Punishment. Clemency can also chain to an enemy hero. So if you put Clemency on someone who's close to an enemy hero, it'll then chain an Inquisition to an enemy and reduce their damage and make them lose 10 armor. This armor does not stack with other negative armor effects. And at level 20, sometimes it just depends on the enemy team if I take the ult upgrades, but usually I prefer to pick Purge the Wicked. I like Purge the Wicked just because it gives me more killing power with that dot and the armor reduction, and also more healing because it's a dot. So this armor again does not stack with other effects like it, and the armor debuff is applied after the first damage tick. And that's it. Hopefully some more stuff you wanted to know about Whitemane. Thank you for watching. As always, more detailed stuff in the description below. Have some Whitemane clips. Enjoy. And I'll see you in the next next I got you. Got you. But no one's got me. At least he tried.
I scared them off. What are you talking about? Okay. Oh, you can laugh at him when he's in stealth.
They're using everything on me.
Your health is just... It's like me on my rogue.
Die, infidels! Get her!
Oh! 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 You can call me the janitor. Uh-oh! Did I just survive a butcher ult? What? Oh man, we gotta pick up the best. Nasiba, where are you, bro? No, 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 Nasiba, no! The light protects me, bitch! Oh my god, that was clutch.
Why though?
0 kills, 0 deaths. You were standing still and she still missed that orb.
How's that orb build working out for you?
Don't grab me! Ha! Do you see that juke?
Armor shell working out for you. Make him bleed.
Hey Gary! No! Oh my god, that self-heal. I already had a I already had a death line picked out. Oh! Bleed! Know your place, Gary! Back of the line! There, I got it. I said. Toss me, daddy! Toss me, daddy! Help me, daddy! Help me, daddy! Help me, daddy!
I wasn't.
You queued yourself!
By accident!
Don't toss me, daddy!
You were the sacrifice the island demanded. And they removed the 1 and 4 talents that were pretty much mandatory. She doesn't get a root until level 16 now.
God, wait, can you just put this all in your Who is Whitemane 2.0 video?
Shut the fuck up.
It's too much data for me.
Oh yeah, her clemency now takes mana too. Fuck, I'm so what the hell is this?
Get the fuck out of here! Filthy Alliance scum!
Form an orderly line for collection.
Is she the...
Well, yeah, she walks the Stormwind in a portal with Anduin's sword in her hands. How much more Alliance can you fucking get?
Have another one. Oh, get that bitch. Get that bitch! No, why?
I got him! What? I got
Thank
him!
you.
Now I'm dead though, maybe?
Maybe? You're my champion.
Fleers on my ears? Fleers on my ears?
Old Whitemane never would have died. Old Whitemane never would have taken that shit from a tracer. Old Whitemane would have killed Tracer in a heartbeat.
Why are you so bad with
What happened to you, Whitemane?
Oh, blame the Whitemane, not the player. He ulted too early. Let him. Don't kill him. Okay, now kill him. Yes. Let him learn from his mistakes the hard way. I don't even know how any of them died after we got Butcher ulted.
I don't know. I lived.
Yeah, I just like stood there for a bit, and then like Jada stunned me or whatever, and then oh, okay, they're all dead. Oh god, they're all so low. Oh.
You're welcome.
Good job, Jesse. That's the sort of initiative Avalanche needs. Sally wasn't always High Inquisitor. She started off with modest beginnings in Lordaeron with her mother and her father, Lord Whitemane, and then Arthas came and fucked them up, and then she joined the Scarlet Crusade.
Do you want to narrate one of my videos?
Come and take your punishment. Light condemn you. Your apostasy ends here.